So, you want to start blogging for an anime channel or maybe a gaming channel, but you don't know where to start really. So, how do you start? Well, it's actually a little bit simpler than you think. So, let's jump right into this and find out how you can get off starting blogging about anime, gaming, or pretty much everything else in between. Alright, so the first thing that you really need to figure out is, one, what do you want to blog about? Blogging can encompass many topics, many subjects, and frankly many genres. Frankly, speaking of the anime community, you have a lot of great focus. You got bloggers who maybe will do the episode by episode reviews, and that's all they do. You also have bloggers that might do things such as editorial pieces. They might do more analytical or discussionary topics. Others, like myself, we do a little bit of both with a little bit of special sauce thrown into it to kind of add to the finer mix that is the larger anime blogging community. So, what platforms are available? Well, you got a few options here, and let's go cut away to our laptop of choice to kind of show you guys what you have available. Alright everybody, so basically if you're wanting to start a blog, you got a few options here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up Safari real quick and we're going to take a look at our first option. So of course the option that I've used and I'm more biased towards when it comes to starting your own blog is something like WordPress. WordPress you can use as a base, and you got a getting started option, which is fine for what it is. So you can start with a blog, you can start with a website, a portfolio, or even an online store. You have kind of variation of options you can get with. So when you start with a blog, you can always just kind of start basic. You can skip it for now if you want to. You can give it a key name and then you progress from there. If you want a little bit more flexibility, you will have to opt into their paid plans. These paid plans also give you access to things like your own custom domain name. So as an example, if I started a blog, it would probably start out as otakugamerzone.wordpress.com. If you want to have it as a standalone domain, then basically you're just looking at purchasing through a third party or maybe even WordPress itself. WordPress actually offers some really nice pricing that's already built into their existing plans. So that is a bonus. And frankly, WordPress is, for me, more or less the premier blogging app when it comes to doing whatever you want to do with that, and it has a pretty good broad use spectrum. The iOS and Android apps are phenomenal, and some apps like Ulysses that we use for writing actually have really nice dedicated publishing tools that will send you straight from your writing app of choice right on over to your WordPress site. So that is option one. Option two we have quickly is Blogger, which for those of you may have known, this used to be called Blogspot, but Google bought them out, I believe, and then changed it to Blogger. And what this does, it integrates already with your Google account. So if you are running a Google account, then all you gotta do is sign in, start your blog up, and then you're off and running. Much like other websites, you can choose a custom design for yours. If you know CSS a little bit better than most, you can actually just use your coding skills to make something all your own. The other option too is you can get a free one, so more than likely than not, it will basically probably just say otakugamerzone.blogspot.com if I did that way, or again, you can buy a custom domain to get rid of that, whatever hosting site you're using on that. Being that it is also owned by Google, it does automatically have built-in Google AdSense. Much like how WordPress on their premium plan will give you access to their AdWords program, you'll earn money per clicks and views. Now, that enters a whole other topic of stuff that we won't talk about, but beyond that though, it does give you the option to monetize your website, which is pretty nice. And built into, you got some pretty basic Google Analytics. I think the free version actually includes Google Analytics. I don't know if the free version does not, so please don't quote me on that. Then of course, photo integration and so on and such, and of course it has a pretty large user-based community. That being said, WordPress also too has a very large community base. And then finally, rounding out of our top recommendations, I was going to recommend Tumblr, but they're having some site issues and Tumblr has a bit of a reputation. Other than that, Squarespace is another option that most individuals can use. Yes, they're kind of business focused too. but it has a very nice, sleek, modern design that I think speaks and appeals to a lot of other individuals. So even if you are a blogger, if maybe you also do art commissions on the side, this is actually something that is very excellent for an individual to get into. Their pricing, on the other hand, whereas WordPress won't let me access that just right off the bat, you do have an optional personal to business, and the main difference being is that your transaction fee is 2%. You get a professional email from Google and $100 worth of Google AdWords credit. So pretty awesome, pretty swanky. So it just depends, and you get also unlimited pages, galleries, and blogs. But it just depends on what you're looking to do. I mean, personally speaking, if you go through WordPress.com, you're gonna get unlimited already. There's no cap on that, at least that I've seen. And frankly speaking, I mean, just to have a personal account, you're paying $12 per month billed annually. So it gets a little bit pricey in the long spectrum of things. But those are your 3 options that I would personally recommend. So yeah, there we go. That's great, Costas. So we got platforms like Blogger, Tumblr, WordPress, and Squarespace. But what does that do for us in terms of helping us write actually about these subjects that we are most interested in? Well, you got some other options. So let's head back on over and talk about a few programs that actually are very helpful for somebody who's just starting out. Some of these will be free, others of course will be a little bit more expensive and will cost a little bit of a pretty penny, but might be well worth it for whatever you're doing and whatever you're needing to do with your blog. Alright, so picking back up where we left off. So we talked about 3 recommendations that we recommend. But now you're wondering, man, what am I going to use to write? So, well, you got a few options. To start with the online options that everyone can have access to, that I personally have experience to recommend, I will start with Google Docs. Now, this is nothing I don't need to hide, but I've used Google Docs for quite a long time. When I first started blogging, I actually used WordPress's built-in draft editor. It's a wonderfully awesome editor. It's a little bit finicky at times, but if that's all you got, then that's all you got. And I highly recommend you guys actually look and check that out. It is a good option. However, if you do happen to have a Gmail account or have no qualms making one, then Google Docs is actually a really, really powerful, really awesome platform to actually integrate with. The benefit to that is if you opt for WordPress, I'm pretty sure Blogger has a built-in support too, seeing that it is Google, but if you have WordPress, this actually supports draft saving from Google Docs to your WordPress account. It won't publish it, mind you, but it will actually, as soon as you're done writing here, you can just save as draft to your WordPress, and then all you need to do is go over to your WordPress, do your touch-ups, add your images, whatever you need to add, and then publish and you're off and running. But what's even better is if you happen to use Google Docs and say you have to step away from your desktop and or laptop, and all you have is your tablet or phone, well, if you have the companion Google Docs app downloaded on your device, you can actually continue where you left off on your PC and or desktop of choice. So that actually has a lot going for it, and the fact that you can actually continue working on what you're working on even while you're not at your computer. So if you get that spontaneous idea, just go ahead and open up the app and type down something real quick, and then you can flush it out at a later date. But free of charge, very excellent app. Now, one of the more widely used options is, of course, Microsoft Office. Office is renowned for being just kind of the one word processor that, Office program that has a word processor that pretty much most people in the world use. That is slightly becoming a little bit less, I would believe, but it just depends on who you ask. Office, though, of course, you do have several options. You can opt for the 365 program, which will run you $99 every year, but gives you access to the full Office suite if that's also what you're looking for. Otherwise, you can buy it outright for $150. Pretty steep price, but you own it, you don't have to pay for it, so for some, that is pretty darn good, if you ask me. Personally, though, I've stopped using Office since 2011, so that's the last time I've used it, and I've not looked back. So if you want free and easy, there are 2 other great options. You have LibreOffice. depending on who you ask, and it is a free open source office suite. So what's cool about this, I mean, it's open source. You just download it and it works. That's really all that matters about this. And I have a few friends that use this too, and I've experienced a little bit of it myself, being that I used Linux for a time from about 2012 to 2014. So it's a very nice program. It's a very lightweight, it does what it does, no frills editions. You can donate to them if you're feeling generous, but they'll never ask you to pay for anything, which is even better. And continuing on that, of course, we also have Open Office, which has been a very, very popular Office program too. And much like LibreOffice, while Libre has kind of the more professional touch-up thing, Apache Open Office is still very good. It's very awesome, and frankly, it's a good option if you're just starting out. Now, as far as other options that you have, this one is going to be an iOS and Mac exclusive as far as I know right now, and that is Ulysses. You guys have seen me talk about this before on our site, but frankly speaking, I love using Ulysses mainly for the option that when you go to export for publishing, you can select what you want to do, but for publishing, I can actually sync that right up to my WordPress account. So that will basically allow me that whenever I'm done doing what I'm doing, so let's for example use our VRV option. So I have it drafted out, I have all my annotations that I need, so as soon as I'm ready, I'm actually just going to go hit right here, and then it allows me to do whatever I need to do to get it ready on WordPress side. And for me, as a word processing editor, if you are on a Mac, you cannot do worse than this. There are other options out there, such as Apple's very own Pages. Now, I've used Pages as well. Is it as full-featured? A little bit more so than Ulysses, yes, but it just depends on what you're looking at. I mean, when we open up a new page, so it looks just like what you want to do. You can type your text, you can bold print it, just do what you need to do, and that's really all you need. You really don't need to worry about much else. So it does what you need to do, and whenever you're ready, you can export it as a PDF, Word, plain text, rich text, and so on. So really there's not much frills there, but you don't get that nice built-in integration that you'd get with both Google Docs for the draft saving, and then for Ulysses with the full integration in terms of drafting and publishing. So the downside to this is, I mean, Ulysses is about 44 or 45 USD. So for some, that's not going to be an option. For myself, it's a good option to invest into, to just bite the bullet and run with it. So I've already done a lot, and I frankly love it. So it's a great program. And from what I asked in the community too, there are other options that you can have. So every computer, PC, Mac, phone will have a notes application. That is also another great aspect to use in terms of just your general blogging options. So while I would say you can draft something in there, I would probably want to use it wholly for blogging, but it'd probably be a great point for an individual just to start off and just basically write, just what they're doing. So those are our program options. Really highly recommend Ulysses if you can find it. For Windows, I don't think they have a Windows version, but if you are on Mac and iOS, do consider picking it up. Great, is there anything else that you need to know? Well, that's pretty much it. Really, blogging is up to you as a person on what you personally want to do. You really are the master of your own destiny, so to say. You can do what you want, you can talk about what you want, and frankly, it's only just your opinion that matters. But as you are in the internet, there are bound to be some different viewing opinions, so just bear that in mind when blogging. You're not going to be able to appease everybody. You're going to have to find that niche that you really want to fit into, and then just run with it, because frankly speaking, once you figure that out, then you're going to better able to understand the people that read your blog, and then you're going to be able to interact with people on a much friendlier basis than that. So just remember to detach, keep writing, and just do what you frankly love. And this has been Costas with OGZ, and I hope you guys all have a great one, so take care everybody.